And
It's
like
the mindset, isn't it? It's dropping
it
through.
is.
You see it not scored over 400, I think, on day one. Northants might have scored close to 400 on day one. The teams are having a go. It's even filtered down into my own batting in a village match in Division 4 West of something. Hello and welcome back to the Cricket Nerds podcast. I'm Zach. I'm joined by James. How are we, James?
I'm excellent, thanks, mate. How about you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Benji is currently holidaying in the south of England, so that's why he's not here today. He's a busy man, but we're still going to bring you some top quality content from the Cricket Nerds, and there's a lot been happening at the moment because it's the English summer, and lots of cricket is played in the English summer, and currently England have finished their series against New Zealand. And I don't know, I'm very surprised. I'm very excited because England are playing this new brand of cricket and have managed to win against the World Test champions. Let's not forget, 3-0. James, where has this come from?
I'm excited. I'm happy, and I'm a little bit scared because I'm happy about English Test cricket. Bazball, it's a term that didn't exist a little while ago, and now it's all any English cricket fan can say. England have just kind of gone for this gung-ho approach where we're going to be attacking with the ball and we're going to be ridiculously attacking with the bat, and I'm all for it. Because it was just the most entertaining Test cricket I've really seen. Like, you know, Test cricket, it's the pinnacle of cricket because it can be so deathly dull at times, and yet still you can end up with, like, because you've invested so many hours, so many days into watching it and to being like all consumed by it, that when it comes down to that last session, that last day, it means so much. And it's just like the best form of entertainment. And Bazball encourages that. It gives you all the drama of a test that you want. Like, just take this last Headingley test. We saw a collapse. We saw big boy centuries. We saw six hitting. We saw good bowling. We saw bad bowling, and we saw some runouts. And then we got last innings drama with like big run chase and lots of Headingley fans and Yorkshire boys. It's things you love to see in Test cricket. Yeah. I know I'm just kind of like, I'm batting around. It's been what, like 2 days since it happened, and I'm still struggling to process it all. So I feel like I need to just consolidate and ask like specific questions so that we can talk about specific things. Is it sustainable? Is Bazball sustainable, Zach?
Well, that is the question, isn't it? It's the biggie of, can England keep this going? We're playing India soon, and we'll talk about that a bit later. Can we do the same against the likes of Jasprit Bumrah? Can we do the same when England play South Africa later on in the summer? Can we do the same against Kagiso Rabada? And I don't know, really. I think England, McCullum said he wants to test the limits of Test cricket. That's kind of what he's come out to say. And I think what he means by that is no one's done this to Test cricket before. No one has tried their best to score 6 runs and over for a day. Because imagine you bat a whole day of Test cricket, you score at 6 runs and over. That's over 500 runs you're scoring in a day. If you don't lose all your wickets, that's over 500 runs scoring at 6 runs and over, which is a winning score. Now, I think England have tried this sort of cricket before with Trevor Bayliss, but Trevor Bayliss he was more focused on the white ball. He was more focused on that World Cup in 2019. And that's kind of when he stopped coaching England. And then Chris Silverwood came in and played this defensive brand of cricket, which obviously didn't work and made England terrible. Whereas Brendan McCullum's trying to take the ideals of Trevor Bayliss and then apply it to the test match team. And I think his mindset behind it is sustainable. I think his gung-ho approach that he's applied to his own test career, that Ben Stokes has kind of tried to apply to his own test career, I think that mindset is sustainable. And I think that's what we'll see is England aren't going to have one bad innings where they get bowled out for 40 and think, no, we're not going to play this brand of cricket, because they've got that mindset switch now, which I think is going to be a good thing, really. I can see it providing us with some entertainment. Now, there was some criticism actually when Trevor Bayliss was the coach about these test match games finishing too quickly. During that Trevor Bayliss era, test matches were finishing inside 4 days, sometimes 3 days, because players were getting out cheaply, bowlers were running through teams, even though it was exciting cricket. Whereas we've seen 3 games go to the 5th day and be really exciting. Why? I just don't understand how that's happened when we're playing that similar aggressive brand of cricket.
I think because not only is it aggressive, but it's the mindset shift of being positive. Like take someone who has actually failed this series. Take Zach Crawley. He's had a terrible series. It kind of culminated in the last innings he had, where he ran out Alex Lees, which was very bad, and then only scored like 25. He kind of epitomizes the idea that we've got here, where we're taking a bunch of players that have an incredible ceiling in terms of their ability and their talent, and you're kind of backing them until they can do what they can do, because not many people can do the things that Johnny Bairstow can do. And we've taken these kind of experiments before. Joss Butler's a great example, where we wanted this wicketkeeper batsman. We see the potential that Butler has, just as a player himself. And I mean, you've seen what he's done in the white ball game. Absolutely outstanding. Like, just his hand-eye coordination and his innovation with the way he uses his bat. But we then tried to fit him into the mold of a red ball player. And Bairstow was someone that was very good at red ball. Like, he's first class average of like 40 or something. He's good at red ball cricket, but he's also like one of the best one-day players we've ever seen. And when you look at Bairstow's ridiculous knocks, where he's striking like over 100 a ball for centuries, a strike rate of over 100 for 100 runs more. It's positive. It's all positive. You rarely see him do like Stokes is kind of gung-ho batting. It looked like getting out.
Yeah, you feel like
because he's running down the wicket, and you just think he's going to chip onto long off soon or mid off. But Bairstow is kind of like, it's a stand and deliver. It's a I'm better than you kind of batting, where like, all right, you can bowl this good length all you want, but eventually I'm going to hit you for a 6 straight back over your head because I can. And like, think of one of the best test bowlers we've got in this generation, Josh Hazlewood. If you put a coin on the on back of a length off stump on the pitch, I reckon 4 times out of 5, Hazlewood's hitting that coin like directly. Like, he's insanely accurate. But Bairstow's the type of guy that, in this vein of form, after like, leaving the first 3 deliveries, he'll just walk over and pull the fourth for 6, because he can hit you off your length now. And it's that kind of positive intent where it's like, you're not afraid to play the aggressive shot. I know I've waffled along for ages here, but
do you think that Bairstow is? I think I agree with you in terms of the intent, because I guess Bairstow is someone who you could say has been unlocked in this series. He's always done well at Test cricket. I think in 2016, he had one of the best, highest run scoring seasons that an English player's ever had in Test cricket, in the calendar year. So he's done well in Test cricket before. But this series, he started the series with 3 very low scores. Didn't look convincing. Everyone was like, oh, bring in Harry Brook. And then he played that final innings at Trent Bridge. And it's kind of unlocked his ability to play this innings. It's as if he said, oh, I get it. I get this Bazball. I get the mindset. And now it suits my game. Joe Root, all it's done is meant that he started playing scoops, and he's not been afraid to play these shots that he's learned to score quicker in the one-day game. Joe Root's always going to be a busy player. He's always going to score quickly in Tests because that's what he's like. Even under Chris Silverwood, he was the best player in the world. And so you have the players in England who have this potential, this high ceiling that you talk about, and it's exciting. We've seen it in the one-day tour, in the one-day format, where England have been able to do things which other countries haven't been able to do. And with the infrastructure, with the money that goes into the England cricket game, it's not surprising. New Zealand are making the most of a small sample of players, whereas England have so much talent, so much money going into the game that you can imagine that we have the most talented players. You just feel like we should, or India, I guess, because they've got so many players to choose from. But we have the ability to play this brand of cricket. Now, another thing I wanted to mention is someone like Alex Lees, for example, who is more of a defensive-minded player. I think it's easy to say, oh, this sort of game, it suits people like Ben Stokes, it suits people like Johnny Bairstow. But what about the more defensive players like Dom Sibley, for example? And I think you're right in terms of intent, because me personally, I am a defensive player. But on Saturday, having watched this Bazball that England have been doing, I was like, right, I'm going to have a really positive mindset. And it worked. Like I'm not the best cricketer in the world, but like I felt more comfortable. I felt more positive. I felt like I was putting my impetus on the game. So do you think it is like a certain players can fit the situation, or do you think it is that purely that positive mindset can be used for any cricketer? It doesn't matter what sort of player you are.
Yeah, I do think that. I think also, while Lees is a defensive player, that you can be defensive and positive. And that's something that we've talked about before, I think, where as long as you're looking to punish the bad ball, you are positive because you're looking to score runs. Bairstow and Stokes are extra positive because they're looking to punish the good ball. Someone like Sibley, for example, we wanted someone to bat time, and Sibley is somebody that will not look to punish the good ball, but he will quite often not look to punish the bad ball either. He's looking to stay in. He's looking to wear down the bowlers, and there is success in that. Like there are players like Hashim Amla, there's players like Cheteshwar Pujara who have had amazing success with that. But what sets those guys apart is they will still punish the bad ball. So, defensive players aren't a bad thing. And Alex Lees has actually looked a lot better this series, even though he's had the occasional time where he's gone out cheaply.
It's going to happen as a top order.
It is going to happen, and it's going to happen with anybody. Like Zach Crawley, again, he's got these big booming drives that he keeps on going out to, and it's kind of frustrating to watch. But you got to remember there was amazing bowling from Trent Boult, and he is someone that has a high ceiling. So maybe if we stick with him, then it could pay off because he is only young. And I think, go on.
I was just going to say, should we talk about the bowling then? Because we talked a lot about the batting. And like I said, England are going to be facing the likes of Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Shami, potentially Ravi Ashwin, although he didn't play when he came over last
Surely
year.
They'll play in this time. They won't be that stupid.
They've got some very good bowlers, and England are going to be challenged. And we've seen the England fast bowlers bowl very well in Matthew Potts, in James Anderson and Stuart Broad, obviously. and also Jamie Overton in the last test. However, when you look at what Daryl Mitchell and Tom Blundell were able to do as two very good batsmen, India also have very good batsmen. I would say India's top 4 is arguably stronger than New Zealand's top 4. And then New Zealand had Daryl Mitchell and Tom Blundell come and basically not look like getting out because England didn't seem to have that point of difference. Jack Leach, although he got a 10th, was just the holding role, really. I don't think he looked, even though he got 10 wickets, I don't think he looked particularly dangerous. What do you think England need to do in terms of their bowling?
I think not a whole lot needs to change, actually. I think this new aggressive mindset might help them because, I mean, especially getting someone like Kohli out. You know, we stick 4 slips in and start dangling outside off. He's as good as Crawley at the moment. I say this, he'll get double tons in every game now. Well, in
the one game,
in the one game, both innings. But yeah, I think this attacking mindset's going to be good. I think the trust they're putting in their players is really good. Like I know you said that Jack Leach was a holding role, but the difference was the confidence that he gave him, because Ben Stokes was refusing to put men back on the boundary. He was having mid-off and mid-on, like nice and close in and catching positions because he was backing his man. And it was really refreshing to see Jack Leach actually bowling a bit more aggressively. Like he's actually looking for wickets. He's looking for ways to get people out, which is nice. And I think we might have a point of difference in terms of the different types of bowler we're getting now. Like we've got Matty Potts, who will hit the deck hard. We've obviously got Anderson and Broad, who are pretty much, very similar players in terms of they will look to swing quite a lot. Anderson in particular, India have to be scared of Anderson because anyone would be. And then someone like Jamie Overton, he's someone that can bowl 90 miles an hour that isn't broken at the moment. So at the moment, he's the best that England have got. And he scored 97.
He looked very good, didn't he?
He did. It was a good 97. It wasn't a Jasprit Bumrah last year slash the willow around for 50 type of thing. It was a well-made 97. So yeah, I think there are reasons to be excited for England, but also I do agree with you that we're coming against a higher caliber of top order here in better form, most likely. And yeah, we could run into some trouble.
And arguably less tired bowlers because New Zealand played Trent Boult in all 3 test matches, and he looked tired in that final innings. He'd played the IPL, came straight in. Neil Wagner didn't play the first 2 tests, which was a massive mistake because he's normally their point of difference. And Tim Southee's, he'll retire soon. He didn't look
threatening, did he?
He didn't look threatening. He had some certain spells where the ball was swinging around, which made a difference, but it's not the same quality of India, I don't think, at the moment. So yeah, it will be interesting to see. Definitely. So if you are Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes sat at Edgbaston on Friday morning, who do you pick out of Potts, Broad, Anderson, Jamie Overton? Who do you leave out? I'm leaning towards leaving out Broad.
I'm agreeing with you. And I don't really. It's a tough one because you don't, but you can't think emotionally about these things. Because like the whole point of Bazball, the whole point of this thing right now that we're playing, is you pick the best team that's going to win the next game.
Yeah.
And at the moment, if you compare them all, like Overton has got that sort of all-rounder ability and he bowls quicker. So instantly you'd rather have, you want him. Anderson is more accurate and will swing it more. And has just got that potency that Broad potentially doesn't have as much. Broad is better to left-handers, to be fair. And then Matty Potts has been in imperious form. He's looked very good.
He's been awesome.
He's
been the pick of the bowlers for me the whole series.
He has.
Both teams.
Incredibly. And it shows the depth of seamer that England actually have, because I think of all the poor blokes that are currently injured at the moment that have just come in as well. They've just started, like Jofra Archer has not played many tests. Ollie Robinson has not played many tests. Saqib Mahmood, all these exciting players that break, but they are exciting and they've got potential. Sam Curran has just scored his first century ever in county championships.
60 deliveries or something ridiculous.
I know, yeah, it was ridiculous. And
it's
like
the mindset, isn't it? It's dropping through. You see it not scored over 400, I think, on day one. Northants might have scored close to 400 on day one. The teams are having a go. And it's even filtered down into my own batting in a village match in Division 4 West of something. It's this positive mindset is having an impact. Is rippling across the country. I think Hasib Hamid scored a century in 150 balls, which is a foreign concept to him. So
that's amazing. That is amazing. Yeah. Well, but speaking of positive,
it leads nicely, doesn't it?
It does. It very nicely into our lightest section of the day, because it's a T20 that doesn't mean a whole lot, but it was fun to see.
It was between Ireland.
It means a whole lot to Ireland. Ireland versus India, their second T20I. Oh my goodness, it was a high scorer. So India choose to bat first, so it's obviously a bit of a road, and they scored 225 for 7. Notable century for Deepak Hooda, who has been amazing recently. 104 off 57 deliveries. Goodness me, that's a knock. Sanju Samson opened the batting. I love to see it. I love to see Sanju Samson in India colours. And he got a handy little 77, didn't he?
He did.
And then weird things happened then, because 3 people got golden ducks.
Dinesh Karthik, Axar Patel and Harshal Patel all failing.
All walking off and telling the boys, oh, goodness me, it's rough out there. It's a bit too paced, bit of tennis ball bounce.
Mark Adair, he's been a very good Irish bowler. He bowled well when he played against England in their recent limited over series. And yeah, he's different. He's got something different about him, which is allowing him to stand out as a bowler for Ireland. He looks really good, even in a high scoring game. But yeah, then you come to the Irish innings, and usually in a high scoring match, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar's figures are quite low, but not today. Taken apart by Paul Sterling and Aldi Balbirnie, who made a very good go of it. At the power play, I was like, you know what? Ireland have a chance here. But yeah, I think India were just too experienced in the end. I don't think any of Ireland's players have played in the IPL before, which obviously is going to reduce the amount of experience you have in these conditions.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was, it's very good to see Ireland playing against India, because it's going to be an amazing experience for these guys. Paul Sterling he's going to be one of my favorite players for a while. I think I've always liked him, and I will always like him, just because if you saw him walking along the street, you wouldn't say there's one of the best batsmen in the world. Like if he came over to you and said, you're right here, how are you doing? You'd be like, you're right, mate. Are you like, what are you doing here? Are you here to put out the flags?
But to be fair, he could be. I think he's one of the ones who's going to feature in this new T10 tournament that's happening in the IPL.
Oh, no,
not in the IPL, in
the Caribbean, isn't it?
Just before the CPL in the Caribbean, yeah. And I think it's just amazing that Christopher Henry Gale, the universe boss, is sacked off Test cricket to play, and sacked off one-day cricket to play 2020 cricket, and now he's sacking off 2020 cricket to play T10 cricket.
I'm looking forward to when he plays fives.
Yeah, just a super over.
Just a super over, yeah. A 10-minute thing, little YouTube video.
Let's just do the toss and then walk off.
Yeah, you love to see it. Well, I think we should call it there. We've waffled a lot, but hopefully you've enjoyed the journey with us. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry we haven't been very regular with uploads. we're trying to get out content when we can. It's hard being, English in the English summer. We just want to play cricket all the time, but then we want to talk cricket all the time, and you got to fit life around it. So thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our uploads. You can also listen to our podcast on all of the podcast websites. Follow our social medias at Cricket Nerds Pod. Is there anything else, Zach?
Well, I just think the more likes we get, the more subscribes we get, the more views we get. So share it with your friends. It motivates us more to produce.
I've been feeling particularly unmotivated because of the lack of likes and subscribes we've been getting. So maybe if there were more, I'd do more content.
Yeah, that's a little motivation for everyone then.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.